Okay, so we all hear about AI in the cloud, right? Giant data centers crunching numbers. But what if I told you the real revolution, the one that's about to change everything, is already happening right here in your pocket? Today, we're diving deep into Edge AI. This is the stuff that's making your devices smarter, way faster, and a whole lot more private than you ever thought possible.
So, picture this. What if your phone was an absolute genius? Even with 0 bars, no Wi-Fi, no cell signal, nothing. That's the promise, the real magic of Edge AI. It's a total game changer for sure. Now, I know this stuff can get a little complex, so as we go through this, seriously, if anything's unclear or you just have a question pop in your head, drop it in the comments below. We'll be keeping an eye out and we'll do our best to clear things up for you.
All right, first things first. What is this AI Edge that everyone's talking about? Let's get right into it and break it down.
Okay, so think of it like this. Traditionally, AI has had its brain in a giant, faraway data center, the cloud. Your phone would have to send a question all the way to the cloud and wait for an answer. Edge AI basically does a brain transplant. It takes that intelligence out of the cloud and puts it directly onto your device. So the thinking, the processing, it all happens right there on the edge of the network, which is just a fancy way of saying right in your hand.
So the big question is, how on earth do you cram a super powerful AI, something that was trained on mountains of data, onto a chip the size of your fingernail? Well, it's kind of like a 3-step recipe. First, you've got the training. The AI model learns everything it needs to know in the cloud, using all that massive computing power. Then comes step 2, optimization. This is where engineers work their magic and basically shrink the model, making it super efficient without losing its smarts. And finally, step 3 is inference. That small, powerful model gets loaded onto your device, and that's where it starts making its own decisions and predictions in real time. Pretty cool, right?
And why go through all this trouble? Well, the benefits are huge. First off, you get almost 0 lag. Think split-second decisions, which is absolutely crucial for something like a self-driving car. Then there's privacy, and this is a big one. Your personal data never has to leave your device. It stays with you. Plus, your stuff just works offline. And on top of all that, you're not constantly burning through your data plan. So yeah, it's a massive win all around.
And look, this isn't some far-off future tech. It's already here, working silently in the background of your life. You know when your smartwatch gives you a heads up about your heart rhythm? Yep, that's Edge AI. Or when you say, "Hey Siri" or "Hey Google," and your phone wakes up before it even thinks about connecting to the internet? That's Edge AI too. It's this incredible, invisible intelligence that's already making our lives safer and just, well, smarter.
So you've got this amazing tech, but you know what follows great tech, right? A ton of money. And this is a massive, massive economic shift. Let's take a look at the numbers because they're pretty staggering.
Wow, okay, this chart really tells the whole story. We're looking at a market that's projected to leap from about $30 billion in 2026 all the way up to almost $270 billion by 2032. That's not just growth, that is an explosion. It's a clear signal that we are in the middle of a fundamental change in how computing is done.
So where's all that cash flowing? If you look at the breakdown for 2026, you'll see that hardware, we're talking the actual silicon, the chips, is making up more than half the pie. That makes sense, right? You need the brains first. But here's the thing to watch, the software. As these devices get more powerful, developers are going to go wild creating new apps and experiences. That's why the software slice is set to have the fastest growth rate of them all.
All right, with that much money on the table, you just know a fight is brewing. A big one. So the question is, who are the titans building the brains for this whole new era?
Yeah, forget friendly competition. This is an all-out war. The Edge has become the new battleground for the biggest tech giants on the planet. And the prize? It's simple. Control over the chips that will power the future of, well, everything.
And here are the main contenders stepping into the ring. You've got Qualcomm, who absolutely dominates the smartphone world. Then there's NVIDIA, the beast when it comes to high-performance AI for gaming and heavy-duty industrial stuff. Of course, there's Apple, the master of the closed ecosystem where their hardware and software are just perfectly in sync. And you definitely can't ignore the other huge players like Intel, AMD, Samsung, and MediaTek. They are all hungry for a piece of this pie.
Okay, that's a lot of players. So for today, let's zoom in on what is arguably the biggest showdown in the consumer world right now. We're talking about the clash of two absolute titans, Qualcomm versus Apple. This is a fascinating tale of two completely different approaches to winning the edge.
So here's the core difference in their philosophies.
Qualcomm is going for pure, raw, unadulterated power. They want the highest AI numbers, period. It's like they're trying to build a drag racer with the biggest engine possible. Apple? They're playing a different game. They're all about creating a perfectly balanced and efficient experience. For them, it's not just about the chip's speed, it's how that chip, the software, and the battery life all dance together in perfect harmony.
And this table really lays it all out. Take a look at the NPU performance. That's measured in something called TOPS, which stands for trillion operations per second. You can just think of it as pure AI horsepower. And wow, Qualcomm is coming in with a massive 80 TOPS. But then you look at the CPU single-core performance, and Apple still leads. That's what makes your phone feel so snappy and responsive for everyday things. So you can see the trade-offs right there. It really is the classic showdown, raw power versus refined efficiency.
But let's be real. When it comes to just the sheer number of devices out there, the sources are all in agreement. Qualcomm has a staggering advantage. In the smartphone world, their market share is just undeniable.
I mean, just take a look at this lineup for 2026. We're talking Samsung's next Galaxy, the new Xiaomi and OnePlus flagships, Motorola, Oppo, Vivo, the list goes on and on. Almost every single major Android phone maker is using a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip. That's a level of scale that is incredibly difficult for anyone, even Apple, to match.
So here we are. The future of AI is moving out of the distant cloud and literally into the palm of our hands. The race is on. So who's it going to be? The Titan with all the raw power and the massive market share, or the master of the perfectly tuned, balanced ecosystem? I'm curious to know what you think. Who are you betting on to win the edge? Drop your pick in the comments below. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.